can!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams.
Hi, you're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. Right on the show today, Mohsin Naqvi continues to play petty politics, locking up the trophy and refusing to let it go anywhere. But the ones getting most affected are the Pakistan athletes, not just the cricketers. I'll tell you more up ahead. US President Donald Trump may have declared the peace plan with Israel a grand success, but ground realities are far different. Fresh protests in Norway, barred from competitions. Is Israel being cornered on the sporting field nevertheless? And India loses to Australia in the Women's World Cup despite amassing 300-plus target. Is Australia an unbeatable side, now staying 3,000 and more days without a loss in ODI World Cups? Or does the Indian cricket teams, both men and women, have a chip in their minds when it comes to facing this particular side, especially in the global stage events? But first, the headlines on Sports 360. Starting with cricket, after surrendering in the first test, West Indies put up a brave fight in the second. Following on, John Campbell and Shai Hope scored centuries to give the visitors a 120-run lead. Campbell is the first West Indies opener in 23 years to score 100. India needs 58 runs on the final day to win the match. Namibia scripted history as they beat South Africa by 4 wickets in a one-off T20 international. Batting first, the Proteas posted 134 on board. The match went down to the wire as the hosts chased the target on the last ball. Wicketkeeper batter Zane Green remained unbeaten at 30. This was Namibia's first win over South Africa. On to tennis, unseeded Valentin Vacherot won his maiden ATP title by beating his cousin Arthur Rinderknech 4-6, 6-3, 6-3. Before Rinderknech, Vacherot also beat former world number 1 Novak Djokovic in the semi-final. Over in the Wuhan Open, two-time Grand Slam winner Coco Gauff won her third ATP 1000 title. The world number 3 beat Jessica Pegula in straight sets. Over in football, Ghana secured their second consecutive FIFA Men's World Cup spot. They beat Comoros 1-0. Mohamed Kudus scored the only goal of the match. This will be only their 5th appearance on the world stage. And Cristiano Ronaldo-led Portugal remain unbeaten in the World Cup qualifiers. They beat Ireland 1-0 to stay top of the table. Ruben Neves scored the only goal of the match in stoppage time. With this, they have won thrice in as many matches. Pakistan's sporting structure is crumbling, and not because of a shortage of talent. It's collapsing because the system has stopped valuing its own heroes. From cricket to athletics, from hockey to football, the story is the same. Mismanagement, neglect, and politics that has infected every level of every sport. And what can you expect from an administration that itself has no direction, no vision, and no respect for the people who built its legacy? PCB Chairman Mohsin Naqvi literally locked away the Asia Cup trophy. He's refusing to hand it to India. That still continues, turning what should have been a celebration of sport into an ego tussle. And this isn't sportsmanship, it's pettiness dressed as pride. And honestly, that's the perfect metaphor for Pakistan's sporting culture today. Locking away the gems, cornering the talent, and rewarding mediocrity. Look at their biggest cricket star, Babar Azam. He finally returned to action in the Test series against South Africa. That's underway, and the Lahore crowd erupted. Not when Pakistan scored a boundary, but when captain Shan Masood got out. Because the next batter walking in was Babar Azam. That's the kind of love and loyalty Babar garners today amongst the people, amongst his fans. This is the same player who was stripped of captaincy, ignored for the Asia Cup, and constantly ridiculed by his own, not his opponents, his very own. Former PCB Chairman Ramiz Raza mocked Babar live on air. And this isn't a one-off. Ramiz Raja even trolled Shan Masood last year after Pakistan's historic win over England. It's a system that feeds on its own heroes, and the rot runs deep. Remember the Wasim Akram statue, a bizarre, poorly crafted structure that looked more like a half-hearted attempt than a tribute, a perfect symbol of how Pakistan honors its champions. And then there's, of course, Imran Khan, the man who lifted Pakistan's first ever World Cup, once their biggest sporting icon, locked up today and forgotten, because politics always wins over pride and a vision in Pakistan. And it's not just cricket that's bleeding. Athletics too is facing the brickbats. Take Arshad Nadeem, the one athlete who carried Pakistan's flag on the global stage. And what does the system do? Instead of celebrating him and supporting him, the Athletes Federation of Pakistan has handed his coach a lifetime ban. His only crime, speaking up against mismanagement. He accused the federation of ignoring Arshad, of not releasing funds and of taking credit only when the medals were coming home. When Arshad underperformed at the World Championships, they interrogated his coach over the expenses incurred and then banned him for allegedly violating federation rules. And this isn't new. Footballers who once brought honor to Pakistan have turned to hawking to survive. Hockey players go unpaid for months. While the rest of the world is building athlete-first systems, Pakistan seems obsessed with building ego-first institutions. And that's why Mohsin Naqvi's trophy stunt isn't shocking. Because in Pakistan, the administrator is always bigger than the athlete. The chairman matters more than the champion. The ego outweighs the efforts. But Naqvi has forgotten one thing. This isn't the Pakistan Cricket Board's trophy, it's the Asian Cricket Council's. He can disrespect his own players, he can destroy his own system, but he cannot drag the entire continent into his personal politicking. We told you weeks ago that BCCI did not take too kindly to how this was playing out and will be pushing for Naqvi's removal from ACC and, if reports are to be believed, from the ICC too. And honestly, that might just be the accountability Pakistan's sporting system desperately needs now. From Imran Khan to Arshad Nadeem, from Wasim Akram to Babar Azam, Pakistan keeps punishing the very people who gave it global recognition. It must first unlock the trophies, free the talent and silence all the egos, because before Pakistan can win on the field, it needs to stop losing off it. US President Donald Trump's much-touted West Asia peace plan is in motion, but while diplomats smile and shake hands, on the sporting field, the peace plan has no echo. From football pitches to cycling tracks, from tournaments to championships, Israeli teams are being caged, cornered and pushed out. Diplomacy may talk peace, but the playing field tells a story of rejection and revolt. Now, ever since the war in Gaza escalated, calls to suspend Israel have only grown louder by the day. When Trump first announced his deal of the century, many believed things would normalize for Israel, that sport would become the bridge where politics couldn't reach.
We're all extremely happy about this news which came out this morning. It was what we all wanted, and we hope that in Udine the stadium will be full, because we need our supporters to give us that extra push.
But instead, that bridge has started to collapse. That optimism now feels hollow because despite the peace plan, the protests haven't stopped. Even before Italy's fixture against Israel, the warning signs came from Norway. Norway beat Israel 5-0, but the scoreline wasn't the headline. The protests were. police had to resort to tear gas to disperse the crowds just to let football continue. It wasn't Norway versus Israel that night in Oslo. It was police versus protesters. And this unrest, it isn't restricted to football alone. The ripple effects has reached every corner of sport. Indonesia has refused visas to Israeli gymnasts, barring them from the World Artistic Gymnastics Championships that's later this month, a direct violation of international sporting norms. But the global bodies, they remain silent. While Trump celebrates the success of his peace plan, even visiting Israel to project stability, the sporting reality paints the exact opposite picture. The Israeli flag has become a target, the Israeli jersey a mark to avoid. Athletes are pulling out, teams are withdrawing, and events involving Israel are turning out to be flashpoints. The latest blow, Israeli Premier Tick, barred from the Italian Championship, and now the team says it will rebrand itself the next year, dropping overt Israeli identification to avoid future bans. That's not just a name change, it's a forced identity shift. And the tension doesn't stop there. Canadian cyclist Derek G, one of their top riders, terminated his contract with the team, citing moral conflict. He's now staring at a $35 million penalty.
I terminated my contract, as is every person's right when they are unable to continue performing their work under the existing circumstances. This decision was not taken lightly. I am now facing damages claims said to exceed approximately $35 million.
And that's where the standoff begins. Fans versus Israel, athletes versus the system. It's a fight that keeps spiraling when in reality, peace was the promise. When Indonesia denied visas, no action came from the Gymnastics Federation. When Italy blocked Israel Premier Tech, the UCI stayed silent. And this silence, it's dangerous because when sporting bodies fold under political pressure, they legitimize a world where hype overshadows principle. Israel's presence in global sport is no longer being debated. It's being systematically erased. The very institutions built to protect sports neutrality are now standing and watching. And while the world argues about leaders, borders, and peace deals, the ones paying the price are, of course, not politicians. It's the athletes who just want to play, teams that just want to represent their country, fans who want to cheer for the sport, not the politics. So as the world debates Trump's peace plan, the stadiums, arenas, and tracks tell a harsher truth. Peace may be on paper, but on the field, it's protest. The dream of peace trapped in the locker room. India lost to Australia in the World Cup, marking their second defeat in the tournament. This despite amassing a 300-plus total batting first. Daunting for any opposition in this format. Australia's Alyssa Healy played a captain's knock to shut India out. The bigger question, though, stems from what seems to be a bit of a pattern when it comes to this cricketing rivalry. What happens to India when in front of an Australian outfit? Is there a mental barrier that is superseding skills and the contest of bat versus ball? The scoreline will tell you that it was a close contest. And yes, for most part of it, it certainly was. India did well batting first, and that target would put any cricket side under immense pressure straight away. And Australia, after a point, did feel the heat when India managed to put the brakes later on. The captain, needless to say, stood tall. And it somehow feels like Alyssa Healy has seamlessly taken that baton forward from a tenacious Meg Lanning as captain and leader in the batting lineup. But there's more. Everyone in there stands up to be a leader. Everyone shares the burden of responsibility when it comes to the big games, a World Cup game. Take the captain Healy, for instance. In the last 11 innings, this is including her match against India recently, these were her scores: 34, 39, 70, 29, 15, 27, 9, 30, 19 and 20. Just the one half century, and that came against England, and she comes and whacks 142 in her 11th innings, and that happens to be against India. That's just undoubtedly the best example of what this means to her. What a World Cup game and one against India will make her do. How hard she will push her limits. The bottom line with India, managed to score 300 plus, that is incredible, but still couldn't hold on. The numbers coming up is, of course, the top 6 highest successful run chases in ODI cricket, and 5 of those have been made against India. It tells you one story very clearly. While India can rake up the runs, they've got the batters, they're not being able to defend those runs. But more than that, it seems to be the mental barrier. We've seen the men's team face exactly that. In the 2023 ODI final, a team that was flawless up until that point faltered in front of a dogged fighting Aussie side. That's what this women's team represents too, a psyche that is cemented from birth of tenacity and an attitude that just never gives up. We've seen that so many times, whether it was an injured Glenn Maxwell playing out of his skins to get Australia through against Afghanistan in the World Cup, Shane Watson bleeding and standing his ground with the bat in an IPL game, or Alyssa Healy coming back out even after retiring hurt and putting up a gritty display to keep India at bay. India lacks that proper extra bowler for sure. That's on paper and the numbers say so. And they might just be forced to rectify that despite Harmanpreet Kaur laying the onus on the batters here. But there are some things that you just can't point out or pen down when it comes to matchups, like India versus Australia. It goes beyond things like stature and skill set. It points to that fortitude, that mental battle, and how far you are willing to take your mind to fight what could be impending defeat. And that's what India needs to muster as they look to go deep in this tournament, the World Cup. Time for last serve. History was made at the Dance Your Style World Championship. For the first time ever, an all-female finale took place. Jaira Joy from the Netherlands lit up the stage in Los Angeles, dazzling a crowd of over 10,000 fans with her electric moves and fearless energy. Take a look at the moment that sent shockwaves through the global dance community.
Let's go! All right, let's preview, guys, the final round.
Jaira Joy.
That wraps it up here on First Sports. I'll of course see you again tomorrow. Till then, do take care. Bye-bye.